Hey guys, welcome to the Kayfabe Krimes podcast, the only podcast you should be listening to right now. And we're here to talk about WWE Fastlane 2019, brought to you by Yamaha. That was the most suitable product placement slash sponsorship WWE has ever had, because Yamaha, cars, or more bikes, Fastlane, it's about cars going fast, and it's the last stop on the road to WrestleMania, bar Raw and SmackDown before WrestleMania, and I guess like NXT and 205 Live. But anyway, so let's jump right into it. Let's start off with the pre-show: The New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Pretty good match, to be honest. Just before this match started on the kickoff show, because I am a man of culture and watch the kickoff show, you see that the McMahon family has called Kofi to their office at the stadium, the Quicken Loans Stadium in, I want to say, Ohio or Cleveland. It's in Cleveland because that's where the Miz is from. But anyway, Kofi's called into the office, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. Pretty fun match, to be honest. It was a pre-show match, so it wasn't. I don't think it's as good as the match. It wasn't as good as the matches on the main card. No Rey versus Andrade on the pre-show because Samoa Joe does say to them, say to Carmella and Zelina Vega, who are debating who should be fighting Joe for the US title, and also the US title should be on the show. But it's great that they were on the main card in a fatal four-way, which we'll get to later. So, anyway, Nakamura and Rusev versus the New Day. So, Nakamura and Rusev start off with the advantage. Obviously, they're the heels. They work hard at the beginning, dastardly, cutting the ring in half. Nakamura and I think Xavier Woods start the match, and it makes sense to start off a tag match with Xavier Woods, because Big E is the big guy, you get the hot tag, and he comes in, which is what he does. After Nakamura and Rusev are working over Xavier Woods, Woods hits with a big drop kick and then gets a hot tag to Big E, who comes in, who looks like he's about to win the match. He hits the big ending, and then he goes for I don't know what he calls the final hour when Xavier isn't jumping. I don't know what he calls that move, but Nakamura reverses it. He gets Big E in 619 position, and he just a guillotine kick. He goes on the apron and guillotine kicks Big E, and so then everything spills to the outside. And then they roll Big E back inside. He hits a second rope knee strike, which is basically a second rope Kinshasa, so it's a bit weird because Kinshasa's just a knee strike, and gets a 2 count. Then the match just proceeds as normal. They then Rusev tags in him. Rusev gets tagged in. Big E tags in Woods. It was actually really cool. Woods goes for his wheelbarrow roll up, and he gets caught by Rusev, who just, it looks like he's using pure power, just turns that wheelbarrow into a German suplex, gets a 2 count. Ooh, yes. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura do a tag move. It's kind of like a magic killer, but it's not a magic killer. They set up for a magic killer, and they hit a conventional neck breaker, but with 2 people, so then it's apparently stronger. And then they get the 2 count on that. Then they go for a final hour, but they get reversed, and then Woods gets hit with a matchka kick, and they get a 2 count. The match ends when they all spill to the outside, they're fighting, and then Rusev puts Woods in the accolade. Woods eventually fights out. Then Rusev is going to hit him with a super kick. Woods reverses it into a roll-up and gets the 3 count. So, okay, this is a cut because I read my notes wrong, and the match actually ends when Rusev goes... This is after the accolade thing and the roll-up. Woods kicks out, but then Woods is in the corner. Rusev goes for like a splash. He hits his head on the top of the ring post, which is like LED now. He comes back out. Woods tags in Big E. Big E gets him up. They do the final hour and they win 1, 2, 3. But is that the end of these two teams in the main card? Because we have to address the thing that the McMahon said to Kofi. And as always, Kofi Mania is still never going to die, and that's awesome. And we love Kofi Mania here. By here, it's me, because I'm the only one here. So we move on to the main card, and the first match of the night is the SmackDown Tag Team title match, which is Miz and Shane versus the Usi Juicies, which I really like the Usos. They are great. So obviously this is in the Miz's hometown. Miz's dad is there at ringside. Miz's dad gets a huge pop. Shane comes out first. Shane also gets his Shane pop, which is great. And then the Miz comes out and the place goes berserk because he's hometown hero. He's wearing, I think he's wearing Cleveland Bears colours, which I think is a football team. Yes, because Elias makes a joke about that later. So the Usi Juicies come out. They're great as always. And then the match starts. The Usos start off great. Shane is starting off the match for some reason. I don't know. And so he gets bullied because he's an old man and he shouldn't be wrestling anymore. And then eventually he manages to get off like this float over DDT on, I'm going to say Uso because I don't know which one. I'm sorry. And then he tags the Miz, and the Miz does madness. He does a springboard crossbody, like AJ Styles does a springboard for his phenomenal forearm. That's what the Miz did. It's the Miz. He doesn't do that kind of stuff, which is great. It's great character development. So that's amazing. So then I'm looking at my notes. Then he's like on fire for a good 2 minutes because I don't remember how long the match was. And then he gets he gets both Usos outside. They're like, obviously he threw one out and the other one's there checking on him. He gets not on the top rope. He gets on top of the LED turnbuckle, like what the Velveteen Dream does when he wants extra elevation for the Purple Rainmaker. He gets on there and he does a crossbody on the outside. Again, it's the Miz. He doesn't hit crossbodies on the outside. But then the Usos start to get back into the match. They hit a pop-up Samoan drop, which is awesome. And we will talk about the pop-up Samoan drop later on in the show because someone botches it. I'll tell you their name rhymes with a Bayer Dax. Just saying. And then... But the Miz counters something into like this, like he manages to counter one of the Usos' moves into a skull-crushing finale, but Shane is already in the ring, and Shane is like hurt, and the ref's trying to move him, and like Miz gets a 5 count, and then ref realizes he goes to count 1, 2, 3, only gets a 2 count. Right there, sparks for a heel turn for the Miz. Keep that in mind, heel turn, just a little bit, me just throwing a little bit, just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that out there. But then the Miz starts to fight back, but then he's downed again, and then one Uso is on the top rope, and the other Uso is on like the bottom rope, like in a supine position, and so one Uso is on the top rope getting ready for a splash. Shane is getting ready for a coast to coast, which then the two are arguing, so they both jump. But guess what? Shane jumps into Uso. Don't know which Uso. They're twins. It's hard to tell the difference. I'm sure Naomi can because she's married to one of them. I don't know which one. I think it might be Jimmy Uso, but I don't know. But anyway, so Shane takes out Uso midair, and like everyone is down. And the Miz is slowly getting up, and he sees his dad, and his dad is telling him, son, go up. Go for the big finish. So the Miz, in all his glory, goes to the top rope, and tries to hit a frog splash, which looks a bit more like Leo Rush's final hour because he does this hands down and the legs wide thing. He misses completely. No, he doesn't miss. Uso puts his knees up, which Uso I don't know, catches him, and then he rolls him into a roll up. It was a bit messy, but that's fine because it's such a sick thing. And 3 count, and he wins. The Usos win with a roll up. Miz is devastated. Usos leave the ring, and then Shane and the Miz are together. They're slowly walking away. We go to Miz's dad. They raise each other's hands like, you know what, even in defeat, we still did really great. And I love you, man. I love you too. The Miz is going to the locker room. Shane's behind him. And bam, he hits him from behind. Heel turn, baby. Shane McMahon. Heel turn. Which is awesome. That's what they should do. The Miz, with all his momentum right now, should not be the one going into WrestleMania as a heel. Shane going to WrestleMania as a heel is great, and hopefully he's gonna get his balls electrocuted again like he did against Kane. So he just beats the fuck out of him. Miz's dad is actually like, it's weird. It's like, it's hard, I guess if you're not an actor, it's hard to pretend that your son is getting beaten up by some dude when in reality you know this guy and your son are probably good friends and this is all them playing out a story. So the dad's like, yo, stop hurting my son. Shane grabs his face, which is a good touch, and I'm sure Mrs. Dad was fine with that. And then Shane goes, he's like, you're a loser, blah blah. He's like, Cleveland's all losers. He rips the Miz's shirt and like wipes his face and sweat off. Really good touch. And then he leaves. The Miz is in there. His dad comes and helps him. His dad helps him to the back. Shortly thereafter, Kayla Braxton has a interview with Shane saying, yo Shane, why did you beat up the Miz? And Shane's just like, then he walks away. It's really great. So yeah, really great match. And then Elias comes out, and Elias has a line saying the Miz sucks and so does Cleveland, which I guess it's the Miz. It's Elias, not the Miz. Next we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which was decent. I wish it went longer because I think, we all know Asuka's a great wrestler, and Mandy Rose is pretty good as well. Like, she can hold her own, especially with Asuka. Asuka. That's how William Regal says it, so that's how I say it, baby. So, Sonya Deville is accompanying Mandy Rose to the ring because they're a tag team. And so the match starts as you think it would, with Asuka, I have to say Asuka, dominating with strikes. She's doing really well. And then Sonya Deville comes in. She like sort of slides into the ring and slides out to distract Asuka, and she like grabs her leg, and that allows Mandy to get the upper hand. And you're like, oh shit, they're maybe gonna put Mandy like clean over right now, but nothing happens of it. It's Asuka fights back. She's doing pretty well. And then the match sort of proceeds as normal, like they're both trading blows. Like Mandy's working kind of heelish, but the big sticking point of this match, because this match was pretty short as well, which is a shame. But the big point of this match was at the end, and you saw this teased earlier, because Sonya Deville lifts up the apron, but then she puts it back down, and you're like, okay, why? I guess maybe she was given some weird direction to do it. But then later on in the match, at the finish, Sonya Deville picks up the apron, puts it onto the ring side where the stick boy goes, where the metal obviously is, or wood, and she just leaves it there, and she takes out a kendo stick, and you're like, oh, okay, so she's gonna try and interfere in the match, give Mandy a kendo stick. Mandy's gonna miss, and Asuka's gonna win, obviously, but no, Mandy then Irish whips off the rope, but she doesn't trip, she stumbles, and that allows Asuka the time to hit her with a nasty but amazing like roundhouse kick to the face, and just knocks her out and wins 1, 2, 3 without having to do the Asuka lock and without having to do her Emperor strikes or hip attack for the win. And it's like, was that a botch? But then they because you think she might have actually, and it looked nasty, so you thought Mandy was knocked out. But no, they sort of did a slow motion replay. Man, it's hard to discern because like her foot goes near the apron, but not enough for her to trip, so she just stumbles, and then Asuka hits her with the kick to the head. Looks like they're setting up Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose. Probably Mandy's going to be the heel because Sonya's really likable, and Mandy just feels like she could be a really good heel. And they're just walking up the ramp. Mandy's like, I'm not having any of this, just leave me alone, and Sonya's very apologetic. So after the SmackDown Women's match, we go to backstage, and the New Day are outside Vince's office because Kofi's there, and he's like, I've been waiting for an hour to speak to Vince. And then Biggie and Xavier are like, no, we've got to do this, we've got to go in, and they just barge in. Vince is there, he's on his phone, he's very awkward, he's wearing a shit tie, it's like purple there and like blue here. No, it's pink here and blue there, and I don't like it, and he's wearing a grey suit. And like, it's awkward because you can tell Vince is like, yeah, what's my line? I want to be at home right now. But the New Day come in like, you can't give up this chance, guys. This is my anime voice. You gotta give him the chance, man. He's worked so hard for it. Yeah, you have worked hard. I've been waiting for you for an hour. And Kofi said, I've been waiting for you for an hour. And it's like, okay, Vince doesn't know what to say here. He's obviously not read a script. But then they're just like, you gotta make it a triple threat. It's like, you know what? The WWE title match is a triple threat match. Yeah. And it's right now. Yeah. Kiss my ass, club. But so then they're like, oh shit. Everyone's like, oh my god, Kofi's in the WWE title match. And it's like, oh, they pulled an audible. What does this mean? Is Kofi picking up the title? So he goes out. He's like, the New Day have been barred from ringside, obviously. I mean, I don't know why, obviously, but they just have, I guess, because it's a title match. So the Kofi goes out there. He's all happy. The announcer's like, this is for the WWE title, baby. And then there's a producer, and he's like, and they're like, and Kofi's like, that's not great for anyone who's not watching the video. And then they're like, this match is a handicap match against the Bar, and it's a tornado handicap match. And it's like, the fuck? So you just got swerved, bitch. Which obviously is WWE building up that face heat for Kofi, which is great because it just means even more that people love Kofi and that Kofi is going to be at WrestleMania, and he's hopefully going to pick up that title for... I don't want it to be a Christian style where he has it for a month and then drops it, but even if it is, he has the title, and maybe he can win it back later when the title's not really with Daniel Bryan, it's with someone else. And you know, sometimes you get champions that are just not transitional, but like not Daniel Bryan. So the Bar come out and just chorus of boos, which is great for Kofi. Not great for later on in the show though, which is sad. But it just the Bar just decimate Kofi. Like he gets a touch of on offense off. He does like his trust fall. He like rolls out the ring and kicks them, but the Bar just beat the shit out of him. It's a numbers game at the end of the day, and it's kind of it's hard to watch. Not in the sense like Undertaker WrestleMania versus Roman Reigns hard. It's hard as in like, I don't want you to get hurt, but it also means it's pretty good. You're going to be at WrestleMania, which is awesome. But then the Biggie and Xavier come out because the Bar were just toying with Kofi at this point. But then like literally popping out the sides of the ramp, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev attack and take out the New Day. So that might be something to set up something for Mania. It might just be you're going to have many teams for Mania going for that title. Hopefully a ladder match because you got the Hardys and four-way ladder match again. They did that when the Hardys came back for the Raw titles, obviously. So, and then they just keep on hurting Kofi. They hit him with 2 brogue kicks, then like the assisted white noise, and it's a 1, 2, 3, and it's like sad times. But then Elias comes out. He comes out several times. I think his thing is now just to be, hi, I'm Elias. I'm I'm here now. And Elias talks shit about the New Day and the Miz getting attacked, and something about LeBron James and the Cavaliers, because LeBron James has left the Cavaliers for the Lakers. That's the amount of knowledge I know about basketball. Next up, we have the Raw Tag Team title match. Say yeah! Top guys. It's really hard for me to choose who I wanted to win this match, because I didn't really care for Rude and Gable. But Ricochet and Aleister Black are awesome, but I don't want them to be a tag team. I want them to do singles things and win the singles titles, but also they're great as a tag team. And then you got the top guys. Say yeah! We go hard, yeah! So, you know, but yeah, the match starts off with some flippy shit, you know, because everyone's just brawling and there's flippy shit. And then the one thing I want to say is triple threat tag matches don't make sense. Unless you have 3 people in the ring at any one time, what's the point of it being a triple threat tag match? Because you've just got one team outside that don't do anything. I'm pretty sure I brought this up in my Wrestle Kingdom review, which is one of the teams didn't do anything for the whole match, and it's annoying. But anyway, the match starts with Ricochet being bullied by both teams. This match was really good, so it got to a point where it was too fast for me to keep on writing, and that happened a few times in this show, which is great, to be honest. So, and then Aleister Black. Hi, I'm Aleister Black. He comes in. He is fast. Like, I don't know if he was going faster at main roster or something, but he is fast. He was murking everyone. Ricochet does a Hurricane Runner on the outside to everyone. So he's got one of the Revival on the top rope. He does a top rope Hurricane Runner off the top rope. He himself lands on the apron, which isn't great, and then I think it's Scott Dawson goes into everyone who's on the outside, which is pretty cool. I think Aleister Black was taken out in it as well, because this sets up the end of the match. Basically, Bobby Roode is outside. I think it's just Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are outside beating up Aleister Black. Ricochet has got Scott Dawson down. It's Scott Dawson down. And he's like, oh shit, I need to save Aleister for some reason when you can just win the match. As Chad Gable gets on the rope, Ricochet leaps over the the ring post, and lands on Bobby Roode, taking him out. And whilst he's midair, Chad Gable tags himself in, which is awesome. Like, I don't know how long they spent planning that, but it's awesome. Chad Gable gets in the match. He tries to beat up what's his name? Thingy, but he tries to hit like a German suplex on Scott Dawson. Scott Dawson reverses it, tags in Dash Wilder, punches him, sets him up for the Shatter Machine. Revival hit the Shatter Machine. 1, 2, 3. Say yeah! Revival win. Short-lived. Bob Roode comes in, hits Scott Dawson or Dash Wilder with a glorious DDT. Ricochet and Aleister Black come in. Aleister Black hits everyone but Ricochet with a Black Mass. And then he hits Scott Dawson. No, he hits Dash Wilder last with a Black Mass. And then Ricochet goes up and hits the 360 splash, which is awesome. And there stood tall in the middle of the ring was Say Yeah! And Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are outside on the floor. I hope this doesn't lead to Aleister Black and Ricochet getting the tag titles, because although it'd be awesome for them to have titles, I just think they're both amazing single superstars, and after the Dusty Classic, they don't really need to be a tag team. They're only a tag team because they're a tag team in the Dusty Classic. So we'll have to see. Moving on, I think this is my favourite match of the night. It's the Fatal 4-Way for the US title, because it has 4 amazing wrestlers in it. It has Rey Mysterio. It has Samoa Joe. Big, sexy Samoan Joe. It's got R-Truth, and it's got El Idolo Andrade Cien Almas in the ring, and also Carmella and Zelina Vega are there, and they actually get involved and do fun things. Zelina Vega is such a great wrestler, and Carmella's a good character wrestler, so it's great, to be honest. So this match, I got notes for the first couple minutes, and then afterwards I was just like, I'm going to enjoy this, because I don't want to be making notes and missing everything. So I've got opening notes, and then I've got the end of the match. So basically it comes in, Big Daddy Joe and Ray knock out R-Truth and what's his face? Andrade. I love Andrade. What is it? What's his face? And then they start brawling for it. Joe throws Ray into the ropes like he's a doll. Ray goes under the rope. He does the sliding thing. He gets caught by Andrade in a DDT, and like, oh shit, he's on a spike DDT. I'm on the floor. R-Truth comes in, clothesline. So it's kind of like a half DDT type deal on Ray, and Andrade gets it with the clothesline. Then big sexy Samoan Joe does a suicide dive. Everyone does suicide dives like in WWE now. Like, it's just everyone does them. So big sexy Samoan Joe takes out everyone, which is awesome. But then they all sort of like gang up on Joe and beat him down because he's a big guy. So Ray, R-Truth, and Andrade get back in the ring. Andrade and R-Truth are fighting. Ray jumps off the top rope or something and hits. He like springboards and hits a Hurricane Runner on both Andrade and R-Truth, which is awesome, by the way. And then guess what? He does it again. I think it's a slightly different situation, but he does that again in one match, back to back, and it's just as awesome the second time. This is about the time where I was like, okay, there's too much going on, and I am losing this match because I don't know what's happening. But I got notes for the end of the match. So basically, also Andrade does the Viva la Raza pose on Ray to like insult him. That's great character work between the two of them. So R-Truth and I think everyone's on the outside, and Andrade like does a corkscrew tope over the top rope, but spinning sideways instead of spinning like that, he's spinning like that, like a roly-poly. It's still cool, and takes out Joe and R-Truth. Then what's his face? Ray goes inside, off the top rope, hits a Hurricane Runner on Andrade. Hurricane Runners are cool. They're like top 5 favorite move for me when they're done right. So then Steve, what happened? My notes are bare here. Vega goes in to attack Ray. No, she goes to attack R-Truth. She misses. Hits him with a sick super kick, which is awesome. It's like the best. And then R-Truth and then Carmella comes and attacks Vega. R-Truth and Andrade are pulling the ladies apart. Ray, in the meantime, gets a fucking massive Uranagi from Joe, and Joe's about to pin him. The other two jump in and stop that. Ray and Andrade are fighting. R-Truth has been knocked out of the match. I think Ray hits. So Ray I don't know if it was this match or a later match. Someone gets hit with a sick Frankenstein, and I don't remember it. I think it's a later match. But Ray gets Andrade set up for the 619. He hits him with the 6-1. No. Andrade gets taken out. Ray sets up Samoa Joe for the 619. He hits him with the 619. Then he does the drop the dime. So his it's not even a splash. It's like he falls off the top rope onto his opponent. Joe rolls out the way. This was very good because Ray gets up, he's stumbling. Joe half gets up, pulls Ray down, gets him to go clean a clutch. Ray passes out, and he does it pretty fast because usually it's like, but this was like a few seconds, which is very realistic because if you're gonna choke someone out, you want to choke them out in a few seconds. I know because I'm obviously an MMA expert. Up next, it's the Boss and Hug Connection versus, I don't remember what they called them. They said Samoan something, but Nia Jax and Tamina for the women's tag match. I don't know how I felt about this match. It's like Bayley, MVP of this match. Bayley's just great. This match demonstrates why Bayley was so over in NXT and why Bayley should be on Charlotte Flair level. Like, Sasha's already up there, but Bayley's always been, yeah. But Bayley should definitely be up there with the other three. Becky just got there this year. Hopefully Bayley will get there soon. Well, end of last year, Becky. So the match starts with Bayley and Tamina. Obviously, Tamina's big than Bayley, so the Samoan girls have the advantage. And Bayley still is like, she's just a workhorse in the ring. She's like the Macho Man. She just keeps on going, keeps on getting hurt. Eventually gets the hot tag to Sasha. Sasha comes in, but eventually her hot tag is just depletes, basically. The Samoan drop thing here was Tamina throws. They're like doing like an assisted pop-up Samoan drop. So I think at this version, unlike the Uso one, instead of them throwing her up there, it was like she like throws her at her. So she threw Sasha at Tamina, at Nia. Nia gets her up, but Nia's kind of like, ooh, stumbling, and she stumbles and falls to one knee, then gets back up and hits like a Samoan drop, but it's much slower. Commentary do a really great job of selling this, saying, oh, Sasha really, put her weight down and like, to stop Tamina and Nia doing it, but it looked a bit more like a botch. But I think that was the only thing. That the end was also a bit but I mean, it's the only way you can do the end without Tamina and Nia looking weak, which is pretty good, to be honest. You don't want them to look weak because they're sick. So my girl Bayley gets back in, and she wrecks everyone. Sasha hits a crossbody from the top rope onto everyone on the outside. No, everyone, the two Samoans, because they're on the outside. And then Bayley hits another wicked suicide dive, like Joe, through the second rope. I think it's a second rope suicide dive, and takes out everyone. And it looks like Sasha hits her head hard. She seemed fine soon after the match, which was great. But I want her to be careful because she gets hurt a lot. And then my girl Bayley is in the ring. She's getting beaten up by Tamina and Nia. Nia's in the ring. Nia goes to hit a power bomb, but then Bayley reverses it into a roll up and gets the 3 count. Only way you can beat Tamina and Nia right now without making them look weak, which makes sense because you don't want Tamina and Nia looking weak. Because straight after the match, Sasha gets in the ring. Tamina and Nia beat the fuck out of them, which is, oh my god. They're outside, they beat them on the outside, beat them up on the table. Beth Phoenix, who was guest commentator for this, comes out and she's like, listen, bitch, stop, to Tamina. Then they beat her up and get her in the ring. Nia does a leg drop, so shades of Hulk Hogan there. And then Natalya runs out because obviously Natalya and Beth Phoenix are friends. They were in the first ever women's tag table match. God knows how long ago, against Michelle McCool and Layla. That's in my head. I know this stuff because they had like their own personalized pink tables because they're women. Obviously, they have to have pink tables. But then Natty just gets the shit beaten out of her too, and then Tamina and Nia just like, say yeah, because they're like the revival, because they're cool. So now we get to the WWE title match, which is still a triple threat. So we've got new Daniel Bryan, family man Kevin Owens, and then you're like, who's the third guy? And so I'ma go hard. I think that's his music because it's Mustafa Ali, which makes me really happy because he's a brown boy, and I like being a brown boy, and I like brown boys. Not in that sense, but you know what I mean. But also it was like sad because he came out. Mustafa Ali usually gets a big pop because he's sick and everyone loves him. And everyone's like, "But you're not Kofi," and I'm like, "No, please, no, don't do a Rey Mysterio in the Royal Rumble to him. No, like when everyone thought it'd be Daniel Bryan, it was Ray, and everyone booed him. He didn't get, wow, that wasn't me, that was my cup. So he kind of gets booed, and it wasn't booing, it was just like, everyone's like, you're not Kofi, we want Kofi, and everyone's like, Kofi Mania. And it's like, it's awesome that everyone wants Kofi to be champ, but it's like, Mustafa Ali comes out, all three of these men are amazing, this should be a great match, and it is a great match, but it's like, dude, come on. It was sad, but I think they brought it back. Like, the match for the first 3/4, even 2/3, it's the crowd are not up for it, and then Mustafa and the others turn the shit up, and they get the crowd back, sort of, but it's still not where it should be. So Mustafa Ali is in there. Him and Kevin Owens take out the heel. Makes sense. And then the two of them start to fight. It was still like the crowd weren't saying anything. This match again was too fast for me. Like, I got like a couple notes and I stopped writing until like the end because I didn't want to like take away from watching this match because I love Mustafa Ali. I feel really sad because he was getting booed and he doesn't deserve to get booed. He shouldn't be booed. So I got some of the highlights. Mustafa Ali goes to the top rope, and Daniel Bryan runs and drop kicks him off the top rope, and usually you'd fall back down, but he goes flying into the barricade from the top rope, and I'm like, dude, the reason you aren't in Kofi's spot right now is because you got hurt doing this kind of shit. Don't do this kind of shit right now. Like, save it, because he took some big bumps this match, and I'm like, awesome, he loves the business, but please save those bumps. Yeah, it was awesome. He's making the most out of his chance, and he's grabbing that brass ring. Vince has to put the title on him at some point. He has to. It just makes sense. And he's so over. I'm very passionate about this. Going forward, Mustafa Ali hits a top rope Spanish fly on, I believe it's Daniel Bryan. I think this is after he hits Kevin Owens with a Frankensteiner, which looked awesome. Kevin Owens is also really good in this match, and he's like, looks great since he's trimmed down, and I don't remember if he's moving. Maybe he's moving faster. I don't really remember. Everyone was thinking it would be Sami to come out instead of Mustafa Ali, but Mustafa Ali deserves to be in the title match, every title match. He should win every title. He is my favourite wrestler right now. Probably my new favourite wrestler. Actually, no, Eddie's always number one. Then Mustafa Ali. So then Daniel Bryan's rolling. He's leaning outside of the apron. Mustafa Ali goes to the top rope and hits a 450 bloody splash on the apron. It's like, how are you two both not fucking destroyed? What's his name? Keeps on rolling to the other side of the ring. Mustafa Ali has to crawl. He gets him 1, 2. Eric Rowan pulls him out. I'm like, no. Anyway, Eric Rowan gets in the match. He's trying to like fuck up the other two, and then it's just a super kick party for Eric Rowan, baby. And he gets his face kicked in. He has a very kickable face because he's a big lad. Kevin Owens is then taken out the match by Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali goes to the second rope on the outside. He does the triangle thing that Kota Ibushi does. But instead of doing a moonsault, he goes to the second rope, and he hits a second rope tornado DDT on Daniel Bryan on the outside, and I'm like, Daniel Bryan's head. Wow. Don't do that, but it looks awesome. But then, like, Kevin Owens appears. Mustafa Ali goes to jump on him. He just does this. Bang! Onto the apron. It's fucking cool, but it looks like it hurts. Mustafa Ali goes into the ring. Kevin Owens goes in to pin him. 1, 2. Eric Rowan breaks it up. And it's like, intellectual savior, baby. Intellectual savior. Friend. Intellectual friends. I Yes, I think there was a stunner followed by before Rowan hits him. And then Ali hits Bryan with a pin attempt, like out of I don't remember what he does. He does a massive top rope move, and like it's like 2.5, and the crowd pop because it's awesome. And which is awesome, and it's like, yeah, finally he's over. Finally this match is getting where it needs to be, and then the Kofi Mania chants start again. It's like, I get it, bro. And then Mustafa Ali goes. It's weird. It's like Daniel Bryan is pretty far out, but Mustafa Ali goes for like a Starship Pain looking thing. It's not. He like springboards off the middle rope, and he goes for a crossbody, but Daniel Bryan has enough time to run up and hit him with a knee plus in midair, which is sick, by the way. And it's Mustafa Ali. I'm sad that he lost, but he's the one who eats the pin, which makes sense because you want to protect Kevin Owens because he just came back, and Mustafa Ali is so over. I think it's okay for him to get pinned. Like, it's not going to affect him all that much, and he was in an amazing match, and he did amazingly. And Daniel Bryan is your champion, and it's probably going to lead to Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston, or at least Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. Depends what they want to do with the belt. If they want to get the belt on Kevin Owens, it'll be a triple threat. Maybe even a fatal four-way. That would be awesome. But Kofi is definitely going to Mania, and it's going to be Kofi Mania. And I'm just sad that I love Kofi Mania, and I want Kofi Kingston to be in the co-main event of WrestleMania, but it's just like, Mustafa Ali is so good, and I just want him to have all the belts. Up next, we have Elias, and it's like, oh, you think it's going to be a standard Elias thing? It's like, oh yeah, I'm running down the city. And then Lacey Evans comes out, and she does her thing where she walks down the ramp and turns back around, and she's like a great wrestler, and they're wasting her. And you think the thing's going to end. I was about to go get a drink, and then bam, Randall K. Orton comes out, hits him with an RKO. I hear voices, and he starts twerking. His music starts playing, and he's turning around, and then AJ Styles, I believe the earth is flat, and I hate Gillette, but you're a great wrestler, AJ. I'm scared. I'm scared of Gillette adverts. He says I'm scared at some point on the pre-show, and it's great. It's like, I'm scared. I'm like, yeah, I too am scared of Gillette. They're trying to take away my manhood, man. I'm scared. I love Jesus. But he comes in and hits Randall with a phenomenal forearm, obviously setting up their Rumored Mania match, which is going to be a sick match. They're both great workers, and when Randall wants to work hard, he's going to work. I don't know who's going to be the face. I think it's just going to be two faces. So, before the Elias thing, we actually had Becky versus Charlotte, but it was so short I kind of forgot, and I thought it was later. So, Becky comes out. She's selling her knee injury. Charlotte's great. She's a massive heel. She's great at being a heel. And the match mostly is just... It's very short, so I'll do this shortly, because it's just a stopgap for WrestleMania, let's be honest. And I think Becky might still have a bit of a hurty knee. So, Charlotte comes out. She's dominating the whole match, like all the way through until the finish, where Becky gets Charlotte into a disarm her, which is then reversed into a figure 4, not a figure 8, and then the figure 8 is just in, and then Ronda Rousseau runs out and is just like, hey, I'm Ronda Rousseau, and she runs out and she like, in the most, I don't know how to describe it, in the most emphatic way, punches Becky. She jumps and punches Becky. She jumps and punches Becky, DQing Charlotte and getting Becky in the match. And Becky's just like, lit, I'm in WrestleMania. And it's like, what was the point of all of this? You should have just made it a triple. Well, there was no need for this match. But I guess it builds heat with Wanda, so I guess like Charlotte doesn't even beat up Becky at the end. She just looks at her, and I'm like, dude, she's hurt. Just beat her up. You can. But then they're like, next one. So we move on to the main event, which is The Shield, the last match of The Shield, which I don't know. I'm not sure. Dean Ambrose, they keep on talking about it. I don't know if he's going to leave. I think he was going to leave, but now it's at work because they keep on talking about it. Versus Wolfpack version, God knows, Wolfpack Corbin. Yeah, they can be Wolfpack Corbin because he has a wolf. So Wolfpack come out. I'm refer to them as the Wolfpack. They come out, do the individual things, and then you hear Shield. You hear Sierra, Hotel, Indigo. We don't say the rest of the 3 letters. Shield, da-da, da-da. This isn't Roman's song. They come out, they're fucking decked out in their SWAT gear, looks cool. Talking about, he's leaving. One of them's got Universal. One of them just came back from leukemia, which is cool. Which is why this show deserves to main event. Because you've got a guy who is meant to be your top guy coming back from leukemia, which is awesome. It's a great story, and he should be in the main event of the first pay-per-view back. And he's in pretty good shape. We'll talk about that. Again, this match got very too fast to call. So many moving parts, so many men, one person. It's hard to remember. So match starts with Geth Bollins, obviously Beth Dollins, in the ring with Drew McIntyre Sling Blade to start the match, which is awesome. I just don't think Dean's leaving. I'm sorry, that's on my mind. Yeah, but obviously he's sling blading, he's being protected, so is Roman. Ambrose comes in, Ambrose gets beaten up, but he still looks pretty strong. Then Bowman Baines comes in eventually, and he's like, he doesn't do too much, because I think they're still going a bit slow on him, like, especially with more physical competitors like Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, because you're just not sure. Roman gets tagged out. Dean comes in. Dean is beating the shit out of Mandem. Seth is in the corner, or no, one of the heels is getting attended to in the corner. Bobby Lashley comes in. Spear on Dean. It's a great looking spear, by the way. It's really nice, and he rolls out. 2 count. Heels end up on the outside. Dean Ambrose climbs to the top rope and does his, I think they call it the lunatic elbow on them. Takes everyone out. Vintage Ambrose. Michael Cole, obviously, take a shot whenever he says vintage through this pay-per-view, because he says it so many times. And just any time you watch wrestling with Michael Cole, he's going to say vintage something. Doink suicide dive. What? I don't know. Someone does a suicide dive, not Doink the Clown. I think it's Roman does a suicide dive. No, not Roman. Seth does a suicide dive, taking out McIntyre and Lashley, whilst Ambrose is on the outside. Again, I'm jumping because there was too much going on. Roman goes for his big dog tope. Corbin runs in and hits a really good looking deep 6, and you think it's going to be a 3 count. It's 2.5. So the rest of the match basically is a bit of a cluster. So you've got, and it's weird because they're shooting it from so high up, because Ambrose, Dean, the other two all go just there. Literally, it's just like that direction to the kickoff panel. Fighting, you're cutting back and you're seeing Roman and Baron Corbin having a decent looking match, which WrestleMania, Roman versus Baron Corbin, do it. And it's Roman's going to get cheered because Baron Corbin is a heat magnet, which is great, by the way. So then they start having a hardcore match. The other 4, like they're on like a glass table. Obviously, they're not going to break the glass table. Dean, Drew, and Bobby Lashley are just like boom, boom, boom. And Seth jumps from the crowd, like the barrier thing, onto all of them. It's like, oh my god! And then the two faces get back towards the ring. They're like, yeah, boy! But then the heels at the upper hand beat everyone up. They rip off the table as though they're going to do the ooh, ah thing on Seth. Or no, Roman, I believe, at this point. And like, the 10 count doesn't matter, apparently, now, because everyone's outside. For some reason, it doesn't matter. So... Also, there's Superman punches for everyone, and Roman gets hit with a pretty nice end of days into 2 count. But anyway, then we go to the outside, and they're about to put Seth through the table. Dean makes the save. Roman helps out. Bobby Lashley's face is on the table. Seth hits him with a stomp on his face on the table, which is ouchie. Corbin's in the ring at this point. And then they do the bomb on Drew McIntyre through a table. They all get into the ring. Baron Corbin surrounded. He eats super kick, Superman punch, and then dirty deeds in that order. And they pick him up. They do the shield bomb. I think they call it the shield bomb. Cerberus head, whatever. Shield. They go 1, 2, 3. Corbin gets pinned. Makes sense. Faces go over. Shield's last match. Roman's first match back. Show ends on a happy note with them boys doing the I don't have a third hand, so imagine my face as a hand. Just imagine it. There you go. So that's Fastlane. Obviously, it was fast. And it started pretty early here. It started at 11 p.m. GMT. Usually that's never happens, but I think the clock's moved in America. Wrapped up by 2:30, which is amazing. I was expecting it to finish at 4. But great little show. Best Fastlane, I think. I don't remember last year's Fastlane, but I'm pretty sure it was mediocre at best. No. The year before's Fastlane had Goldberg beating Kevin Owens for the title. Last year, it was not that much. It was something. I don't know what it was last year, but it was definitely a really good show, and it's a really fun show. Check it out if you've got the network. Check it out if you have Twitter and you're going to see GIFs. Some great matches on there. Not too sure about the Becky Charlotte match. I don't think that should have happened. That was just put Becky in the match. You have to use Ronda Rousey's dates, I suppose. And looking forward to the road to WrestleMania. 27 days by the time this goes up, or 27 or 26 days until WrestleMania, which is going to be off the hook. Cannot wait. WrestleMania, can't wait. So yeah, WrestleMania. Remember to like, subscribe, share the video with your friends and family, and you know what, like wrestling, go. Kayfabe is alive.